bless you all. Let you all open all your three eyes and manifest the powers of Mahaparamashiva. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. 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 Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Vyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanam Dvandvadidam Gagansadrisham Tattvamasya Vilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvabhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavadidam Trigopahidam Sadgurundam Nithyanandam, we welcome all of you to today's yet another exciting episode on Nithyananda TV. I am Sri Nithya Paramashivoham Maharaj, and we have with us our co-host Sri Nithya Mangalananda Maharaj. Nithyananda Maharaj. So yes, Maharaj, as all our viewers know, today morning we witnessed the most auspicious ceremony of Meenakshi Thirukalyanam, which is the celestial wedding ceremony of Devi Meenakshi, and who is the incarnation of Paramashiva Shakti, the cosmic mother, the divine feminine consciousness herself, and the and Sundareshwara Paramashiva. When Paramashiva himself lands and descends on planet Earth and marries Devi Meenakshi, and together they rule the entire cosmos and establish the most powerful enlightenment ecosystem, the Shamala Pita Sarvaka Pita on planet Earth. Yes, why don't you take us forward with what we are going to discuss today and what this whole celebration is all about?
Yes, so actually today's today's segment is going to be based off a bit about the Trikalyanam celebrations, the Trikalyanam rituals which happened earlier today. As you all would have already probably witnessed and had the darshan, had the 19th Diksha of Supreme Fund of Hinduism gracing all of us with the Meenakshi Trikalyanam rituals, where we saw the Meenakshi Trikalyanam happening in KAILASA in the Madurai Meenakshi temple, as well as in the KAILASA Nithyananda Paramashiva Devalayam and KAILASA, Los Angeles. And so the Kalyanam ritual actually signifies a very important milestone, very important part of the avatar of Devi Meenakshi. And that is her realizing the space of Paramashiva, the Paramashiva Gopur. Let's understand a little bit further into the happening of the avatar of Devi Meenakshi. So Devi Meenakshi fundamentally is representing the feminine consciousness of the entire universe. And so her first incarnation as Sati, there were problems, there were implications. We don't need to necessarily get into the Purana history at this moment, but all of you are definitely aware of the complications which the avatar, the incarnation of the happening of Devi Sati. And Devi Parvati also wasn't exactly perfect. In the case of Sati, it was her father who was against Paramashiva, and that is where the incarnations were created. Parvati, the mother, was not in complete completion with Paramashiva and the whole Leela which was taking place. It was only in the avatar of Meenakshi where both mother and father were completely complete. Because as if you have heard the proverbs in the local Tamil language, it is said that southern India is the land of Shiva. And so, being in the land of Shiva, both parents, both mother and father, both of them had such a deep feeling connection, deep space of bhakti towards Paramashiva. And it was, I can say, the complete avatar would happen only in the avatar of Devi Meenakshi. Where she was able to not only truly realize her Paramashiva's purpose, but the Vatavarna, the best Vatavarna was provided for the realization of the avatar in the avatar of the
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, Maharaj. In fact, this whole day has been such a huge upsurge of energy and excitement for all of us. This morning itself, it began with the best, the best beginning for any day. Experiencing, lively, witnessing the whole ritual, Kalyanam, especially the presence of the current incarnation, the living manifestation of Devi Meenakshi and Sundareshwara Paramashiva, the supreme quantum of Nithyananda Paramashivam. In his divine presence, witnessing the ritual takes it to completely different level. And that is the excitement whole day we love. And that's what in that context of excitement, we brought the topic which is very much related to today's day, the union between Paramashiva and Paramashiva Shakti. So Maharaj, why don't you share with the audience what is the exciting topic that we have brought for them?
Yes, as the title of the live stream itself says, surrender is the complete mastery. And it is only through surrender that we can, it is one of the most beautiful ways to realize our Paramashiva. As you know, Hinduism has more number of sampradayas than we can possibly count and possibly keep track of. There are that many. And each sampradaya has its own way. The goal is the same, the destination is the same, but the path to reach the destination is multiple. And so to reach the space of Paramashiva, one of the most sweetest and most, I think it's the best way, the Uttama way to reach the end, have the experience of Paramatma, have the experience of Paramashiva. The best way it can happen is through surrender.
Yes, in fact, it is only in that moment of love and surrender, because we have been discussing about the story of Devi Meenakshi when she goes to conquer the entire cosmos, and finally, just with that one glimpse, that when the glimpse falls on Paramashiva, she just melts in love and surrender. And it is just in that moment of love and surrender that she really discovers her true identity. She experiences that oneness with him, with Paramashiva, and she realizes that she is Paramashiva herself. You know, in the story goes that her third breast also disappeared, which she was born with, right? As a child. So that whole story just signifies this the significance of surrender, the significance of divine love, because we are not talking about, you know, love in the human sense or, you know, attachment really. We are talking about the union between the individual consciousness and the supreme consciousness, the divine love, which happens only through surrender, which only happens through passiveness, you know, passive surrender and intelligent surrender to the divine, to the ultimate, to Paramashiva. It just makes the whole journey of life beautiful and ultimately makes us reach our goal. That is experiencing oneness with Paramashiva, which is Paramadvaita experience itself. And that's the topic which we are bringing today. Surrender itself is the master. It can solve all the problems in our life, right? Especially related to the ultimate seeking of the deep yearning that we have for becoming one with Paramashiva, for realizing our true identity. And not just love, but divine love. That's what we are really bringing to the audience today. Love of the highest form, you know. And really, I'm just thinking what a topic we have chosen because of this whole inspiration that we have been having since the morning. Just listening to what the Supreme Pontiff says, I think will be the best way we will go forward. Because what do we know ultimately about surrender, about divine love, except listening to what Paramashiva himself says, and in the present incarnation, the living manifestation, as the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself, he has shared countless discourses on this topic of surrender, on divine love, on, you know, realizing our true purpose through surrender, through devotion. I think this is the best moment and the best opportunity for us to share his words directly with the audience, with all the viewers, so they can really understand and get, you know, inspired to follow, to really understand what surrender really means. It's my way to move forward.
Yes, so surrender is nothing but just melting. Yes. I think it's the most simplest and that is the best definition which, you know, in one word, to properly convey, surrender means just melt. Without any expectations, without any incompletions. And I think that is the important part here is without any expectations. You know, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism again and again is the example. How many people come to Swamiji, many people come in the darshan and say, my whole life I surrender to you, everything which I have I surrender to you. But then you ask them, okay, to start a KAILASA in the locality, start you know, a path a center. Because, you know, Swamiji, I have this problem, I have that problem, I have these duties, I have those responsibilities. So surrender is never going to really happen. That's good without any expectations. When people have expectations that, okay, I surrender to Swamiji, I made this statement, then I'm supposed to get, you know, so and so privileges, I'm supposed to get so and so treatments, and, you know, like this, so on and so forth. And so, true surrender happens when you don't even realize this. When you just live, it's like a baby is innocent because it doesn't even know. The same way, a person is beautiful when they're not even aware how beautiful they are, without the ego. And so, surrendering without ego, without expectations, without expecting anything in return, surrendering just for the sake of surrendering, that is surrender. I won't even say that is the best version of surrender, the best possibility of surrender. That is surrender. Because unless you have that space, then every call as surrender is not really surrender.
Yeah, exactly. Because I even remember it's powerful discourse on Brahmasutra, point of Hinduism was giving. One of them was simply, especially about the topic we are discussing, he said, it's surrender without any guarantee. Is there a reason? No guarantees in return for what you're getting, even if you won't even get that possibility. Despite all of that, without any guarantee from the other side, from the master or from God, whoever you're surrendering, still surrendering, just melting and just keeping your ego at the feet of the higher principle being of God or that is the surrender. That is the true surrender we're talking about. And also the Supreme Court to share that surrendering out of confusion is not really surrender. So he goes on further to say that he clarifies that true surrender is that which arises out of clarity and intelligence, right? And not out of confusion. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita Decoded, which is his own retelling of the Bhagavad Gita for the modern humanity, he describes Arjuna in the state of confusion, right, as to whether to fight his relatives or not. In this state, when Arjuna says he has surrendered to Krishna, he makes a statement, I'm surrendering to you, just you tell me what to do. It is not really the authentic surrender. He's merely talking words without, exactly based on what he was saying, like same thing Supreme Court is pointing out here. Because Arjuna was merely talking words without meaning them. He wants Krishna to simply inst only what he wants to. That's what most of us do, that we are surrendering to Supreme Court of Hinduism. Swamiji, we surrendered to you, just take care of us. We don't really need it authentic. Ultimately, when it comes to, if you really instruct us in something which does not fit our own frame, which we don't want to listen, we suddenly, move back. I'm not really ready for it. Give me some time on this and that. That is not certain. Supreme Court of Hinduism is again and again making us realize that surrender is literally, it has to be 100% or it will be. You cannot 99% surrender to someone. Because that 1% itself is the whole thing.
1% is just nothing.
Yes, exactly.
So, it doesn't matter even if it's just one drop of poison. One drop of poison, even if you put it into one whole liter of milk, the whole thing becomes poison.
That is the whole thing. We've lost the game. Just that 1% miss that you have made, you've lost the whole game. That is what the real test was. That is exactly when you will be tested, when you're really surrendered or not, and you will fail. Because surrender has to be complete, has to be 100% without any guarantee. Right? And also the Supreme Court will share about about innocent surrender versus ignorant surrender. You want to share something about
Actually, this is
new. I'll tell it. The Supreme Court said he basically was describing that some verse from the Upanishad, right? He says this verse. We'll talk about the verse later. He said this verse really awakens the feeling connection, finally connecting you to the source. Even in prayer, what a maturity, right? Celebrating your desires are getting matured, dwelling into the sweet devotional depths and peaks of matured surrender and renunciation is in the 18th verse of the Ishavasya Upanishad, precisely distinguishing what is innocent surrender and ignorant surrender. The Supreme Court of Hinduism defines innocent surrender as knowing everything about surrender and not being afraid of it. Right? You know everything, what can happen, what cannot happen when you're surrendering, and still not being afraid of it. With surrender, our desires and fear get matured. Ability to make old desires and fears redundant, right, is renunciation, is the ability to be alive. No more do we dwell in the hypocrisy of society. Right? Ignorant surrender is when we do not know what is surrender. We don't know what is surrender, what is entail, but try to throw responsibility in the name of surrender as a part. It is so powerful. And then he goes on to explain the verse, and the verse from the Ishavasya Upanishad translates it. Oh Agni, the fire, God, knower of all our actions and all that is worth knowing, you must take us along the righteous and auspicious path of completion. Leading us to experience the supreme consciousness, the original space of complete completion. Oh God, consciousness, May you remove all our incompletions that are obstacles on our good path of completion, beyond coming and going, birth and death. Unto you we surrender with many reverential words, bowing down again and again. So that is the context of surrender, which the Upanishads, especially the Upanishad, is teaching us. And in further, the supreme part of Hinduism is explaining to us the real context between the difference between innocent surrender and the ignorant surrender. He says that ignorant surrender is just, throwing away our responsibility in the name of surrendering, not even taking decisions, not even facing the fears and all the possibilities. In the name of surrender, really just withdrawing. That is ignorant surrender. That is not even surrender. But innocent surrender, on the other hand, because I remember in the Supreme Court, he was explaining about the Polarpati from Nithyananda. And one of the incidents, very popular incident, when he had to go to, I think, the city of Madurai. He was on the path, and one of the other saints, right? He told him, the other saints too, and told him not to go. He said, it's not the right time for you to go. Yeah, you may not be successful in your mission. But he said, and as a response to him, he just sings this Paramadvaita. It's a beautiful poem. And the essence of that poem is Paramashiva resides in my being. So, and he describes one by one what all dangers can happen to him. Snakes can bite him, all the worst weather can happen, rainfall, climate, this and that. He may be stuck in a forest with all the wild animals and this and that, all possible danger. But he said, all of that will turn out to be good for me. Just because Paramashiva is residing in me. So that is the level of surrender we're talking. That is true surrender. All the Swami says, this part of Hinduism says that it's not like he did not know, he was not ignorant. He was not surrendering out of ignorance, just like an emotional outburst. No, I'm surrendering, nothing will happen to me, He knew all the possibilities of and all the dangers that can happen to him. But he says, even all of them, not only will they not affect, but they will only turn out to be good for him. Because that is surrender, just because Paramashiva is my being. That is the surrender, the beauty of surrender. When we say, and we discuss the topic of surrender being a master key, this is exactly what we are discussing about. When you surrender to the divine in the form of God, and the best form is Guru, obviously it's the most mature form of surrender, because God himself comes down as the ultimate fruit of devotion to God is when he himself comes down in the form of Guru. He says, come, let me take you over. Finally. So when you surrender to Guru, everything just melts, all dangers, all fears, everything simply becomes auspicious for you. Nothing touches you. But for that, you have to surrender 100%. There cannot be 99%. It has to be 100%. That is the context which the supreme content of Hinduism shares with us. And expand something on, whatever your understanding from whatever the supreme content of Hinduism has shared with devotion, about the Guru, about the Yaga or the Guru. So many understandings. What did you share?
Actually, Maharaj, the point you have brought out about Paramadvaita, the number of dangers which Nithyananda might face in his upcoming journey. We have so many things, I won't call them superstitions, but we have so many things like this, especially if you are a very orthodox Hindu, and who is very, who follows the astrology and all that very sincerely. We have the Yel Rashani, or the Sharasal, as they call it in the north. And in the south, I think it's called the Yel Rashani, which is the time Rashani from you, and there are a lot of decisions which you are recommended not to make. And it's an ongoing joke where if you say something bad is happening in your life, if something bad is happening in your life, it's because you're going through your Yel Rashani in your life. And so, like this is just one example, but if we dig deeper and deeper, we'll find more and more things, more scenarios like this. And not to say that these are not authentic, or that these don't have any value or meaning, or that these are just nothing but superstitions, because at a certain level, these do definitely have value. These do definitely, because this is not some pseudoscience, this is not some superstition. This is developed by our forefathers, and who have what we are experiencing as Hindus today, what we know as Hindus today is because of them. And so there is truth and there is all the everything which they have mentioned in the Jyotisha, in all the various scriptures, that is definitely true in the last two as well. But there is one key to overcome. There is one, if to say like a joker card or a wild card, which doesn't fall in any of these categories, which doesn't fall victim to any of these. That is the blessing of the Guru. Having the blessing of the Guru on your life overrules, overpowers, vetoes. I think is the proper correct word to use. Vetoes all of these problems in your life.
What a beautiful word. Exactly. It is a veto power because it can overpower any powerlessness or any confusion, any fear, any real danger or perceived danger in your life. Guru is the master key. Master is the master key ultimately. Surrendering to the master just solves all your problems. The Supreme Pontiff just basically, whenever we are talking about Supreme Pontificism, sharing whatever, it's simply we're just enjoying our devotion towards it. It is such a beautiful relationship, so juicy, so exciting, enjoying him, the happening of him in our life. That just does the whole magic. And we are just singing his glory. We're not doing anything of our own. We're just singing his glory, sharing his words, everything, bringing people to him. That's what we are doing. And the core of it lies simply surrender to him. That's all. And when we say master is the master key, surrender is the master key. Basically, surrender to the master has the power to solve all your problems. Not even solve all your problems. You will forget that you even have any problem. So you will just completely go to the next level altogether. You will simply realize that your life is not even magical, right? And that's something I think personally that people have to experience. It is not just about solving your health problems or wealth problems or relationship issues or any other issues or problems which you have in your life that will be faced when the Guru happens in your life. Of course, all of this will be solved. It is all a byproduct. But the real happening, the real benefit is just the happening of the Guru. And over on top of that, the actual essence of it all is surrender. Right? I even remember a beautiful Supreme Pontiff shared the best thing that can happen to him is not even enlightenment. It is surrender to the happening of the Guru. It is even more important, more significant, more juicy than even enlightenment, which is supposed to be the highest purpose, which it is naturally. It is the highest purpose of life, it's the ultimate goal of all the living beings to manifest oneness with Paramashiva, to realize who we really are. But even more than that, the best thing, the best gift Cosmos can bring to you, God can give you, is surrender to Guru. Because that is something even next level than even enlightenment. What do we know about enlightenment? But we know.
I think we will even know what enlightenment is if it is a Mahaparamashiva.
Exactly. I was coming to that, but you broken the. Yes, please go ahead.
Mahaparamashivoham program, you won't know about enlightenment, you will experience that. It is where the Supreme Pontiff goes through the power of initiation, which is again not superstition, it is backed by science. There is not just the scientific reference or the scientific research backing the power and science of initiation within the Shastras, within the source material of Hinduism, but actual scientific research behind how initiation works and how there is there have been so many studies actually conducted for the past couple of years before when the Supreme Court of Hinduism presided in Adi KAILASA and the inner making program happened. Multiple number of researches have happened where the mitochondria level of your cells increases by, I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I think 1200% is the number. And these are numbers which the doctors and the researchers who have come and were collecting these results and doing these compiling this data. They have never seen this kind of data research or this kind of results anywhere else exactly. And even when the Supreme Court of Hinduism's mitochondrial level is taken, they have not even heard of the number as high as that. So there is a lot of scientific backing, there is a lot of spiritual backing, which has been mentioned in the Shastras, and scientific backing within the source of the Shastras. So everything which is being offered in the Mahaparamashivoham program, everything which is being gifted to you through the program has richness, has value, and is the real thing. It is not superstition, it is not pseudoscience, it is not some sort of placebo effect. It is pure science. For lack of a better word, it is pure science. And you can, if you wish to learn more about the Mahaparamashivoham program, or you have an intention to attend the Mahaparamashivoham program, the link is being projected in the scroll below, where you can register yourself directly to the program, or you can click mention as well, where we will reach out to you. We will, if you want to learn more information about the program, we will, try to help you the best as we can. And if you want help to pause and manifest the Mahaparamashivoham program for yourself, we will also make that happen. So you can scan either the QR code, or you can visit the link directly. I think the link is paramashivoham.org. You can visit the website. The landing page has a lot of information about the program itself. And for further information, you can fill in the intention form, and we will reach out. I think we've come to the end of today's segment, and fundamentally, this is the key. Surrender is the master key to achieve the master, to realize the master, which by now, if you don't know already, is the purpose of not just the life of you, not just the life of me, but every single person. The goal of our life is to realize our partnership. And it can only happen by the grace and blessing of God. Alright. You can try to swim from from US to Australia. How successful you are, you can decide that for yourself. Or you can simply take a flight. And that is what having the feeling connection, experiencing the Paramashiva through the grace and blessings of the Master, of the Supreme Lord in the is exactly like taking flight. So without further ado, please sign up, join us for the Mahaparamashivoham program. Reach out to us, and we will be more than ready to help you and attend to all of your problems, all of your queries, all of your whatever concerns you have, which will be addressed, and help you to manifest the program as well.
In fact, you can taste surrender. You may be having hundreds of doubts whether it's really right for me, whether I should really opt for this option, whether he is the right one. So many doubts. Simply surrendering all those doubts at the feet of Paramashiva, as he has happened in the form of incarnation, the living manifestation. Even if you are doubting this part, just surrendering that at his feet and clicking that button, scanning that QR code, you will see the magic happening. You will taste the happening of your life. In fact, Paramashiva himself in the incarnation flesh is walking and is waiting for happening in your own personal life. Just needs one yes from you, one intention from you, and everything he will take care, be financially, be any other obstacles you may be facing, he will clear it for you. He even has made a statement, just if you are having a strong intention to come to me, I will even move the planets to make you come to me. Okay. So it is he who does all that. From your side, only simple thing is needed, just surrendering at his feet and saying yes, opening yourself up and receiving his blessings in your life and experiencing that pure love and devotion. Everything else will be taken care of. Any other issues, any other problems in your life will be taken care of by himself, right? So just that's all we want to do with this today. And I guess the next season of Mahaparamashivoham is starting on 15th of May. If you want to immediately join current season, you can join even now. You can sign up and start attending the program even now. But if you want to start fresh from new season itself, and the new season is starting from the 15th of May, which you can opt for joining as well. So with this, we come to the end of
I'd actually like to take you through a small technique, small meditation, and come to the space of surrender. Because now we are going to be having preparing ourselves to receive symbolism for the Nithyananda TV. So first of all, our viewers, down there. Come back to the space of deep surrender. Come back to the space of deep surrender. With Supreme One. Visualize, remember, you're reciting within your arm as Paramashiva. With the 25 heads. And surrender.
Paramashivoham.
Now, start chanting Bhava. Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Allow mantra to evaporate through your heart. Allow your being deep in space. Allow your being in God.
Paramashivoham.
Then now start chanting Bhava. Fast, speed,
Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Nithyananda. Nithyanandeshwara Samarambam Nithyanandeshwari Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. I'll continue to expand on the 18th verse of Isavasya Upanishad. Agnena Yasupataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yuyot Yasya Majjuhuranamena Bhuyishtam Te Nama Uktim Videma. Listen. O Agni, the fire god, knower of all our actions and all that is worth knowing, you must take us along the righteous and auspicious path of completion, leading us to experience the supreme consciousness, the original space of complete completion. O God, consciousness, may you remove all our incompletions that are obstacles on our good path of completion, beyond coming and going, birth and death unto you. We surrender with many reverential words, bowing down again and again. Listen. The first part of the verse I explained, the best prayer you can do is lead us to, take us along the righteous and auspicious path of completion, the original space of complete completion. The next line, O God, consciousness, may you remove all our incompletions that are obstacles on our good path and completion, beyond coming and going, birth and death. Understand two important sacred secrets you need to catch in this verse. One, listen carefully. The first, innocent surrender. Please understand. I am not saying ignorant surrender. Ignorant surrender means you do not know what is surrender. You do not know to whom are you going to surrender. You do not know what is going to happen after that surrender. You do not know what is going to happen if you don't surrender. You do not know the original concept of surrender, just trying to throw away your responsibility in the name of surrender is ignorant surrender. Innocent surrender means you know everything and you don't have insecurity inside about going through this path. That is innocent surrender. Understand the difference between these two. I'll explain. I have seen the hypocrisy of human beings in any ton level. People come and tell, Swamiji, I surrendered everything at your feet. In the end of the one-day program, during energization, please cure my cancer. I tell them, all right, stay for 2-3 days, I'll heal you. No, tomorrow morning I have to go for my work. See the stupidity. No, I surrender to you, you heal now and send me for my work. Extreme hypocrisy. Here, the person doesn't know what is surrender, doesn't care about what is surrender. He is using the word for some bargain. Innocent surrender means you have a thorough idea what is surrender, to whom are you surrendering, what will happen after that, what will happen if you don't, what is the right context, everything. You know the whole thing and you do not have the fear of transformation it is going to bring inside you. Understand? You do not have the fear, the transformation it is going to bring inside you. What is exactly you are afraid? With surrender, suddenly your own taste about life may change, which you are afraid of. Oh God, I may suddenly start liking something else. Then what will happen to all the things for which I worked for 10 years? What will happen to that house which I brought designing, which I built designing every room? What will happen to the car which I bought enjoying the mirror, side mirror, front mirror, clock, these, that, so many things? What will happen to all that? Suddenly my desires may change, my fears may change, my thinking may change. Understand? When you mature, your desires do mature. If you decide your desires should not get matured, you stop your maturity. You stop your maturity. Maturity of the desires and fears is what I call renunciation. Renunciation is not denunciation. Understand? In Hindu tradition, Vairagya is not aragya. Viraga is not araga. Renunciation is not denunciation. Maturity getting added to your desires and fears. Understand? You might have heard thousands of conspiracy theories. I give you the worst conspiracy done against the humanity is creating a fear in people about the possibility of their desires getting matured. Understand? There is a worm sitting inside that small shell. And if you frighten that worm, hey, if you become butterfly, how will you eat? Here at least your food is guaranteed. Inside the shell itself you have a food and nobody can attack you. If you become butterfly, How will you save yourself? What will you eat? I tell you, trying to suppress human beings without letting them taste off the grid life, is the greatest conspiracy. I tell you, all the best things India has, Sanatana Hindu Dharma has, is by the rebels who learned to live off the grid when they were young. When you are young, learn to live off the grid. The powerfulness that brings inside you. After that, even if you are hooked to the grid will be at your feet, not you will be at the feet of the grid. After that, nothing can bind you. I am glorifying all these by wearing them, not getting glorified by all these by wearing them. I am decorating the throne, not decorated by the throne. I just want to make a statement to the world. All these traditions of Hinduism need to be revived, relived, enjoyed, cherished, spread, enriched. Because this tradition taught me to live off the grid. And no society is more compassionate in the world than the Bharat Indian society, which loves, respects, reveres the people who decide to live off the grid. In any other country, if you decide to live off the grid, it is illegal. In this country, decide to live off the grid, the people will wash your feet and give you food. I am waiting for my Balasans to become 18. First batch I am sending to live off the grid. That is going to be the grand finale for my Balasans. And in the March, all the Krama Brahmacharis and Naishtika Brahmacharis are going to enjoy the off the grid life in March. I have plans. All the Krama and Naishtika and the Ashramites are going to enjoy off the grid life in March. Now I tell you, fear of your desires getting matured will stop you getting matured. Any society frightens its people about maturity will kill itself. Let more and more maturity be added. Let your desires get matured. Your fears get matured. If you are afraid of death and suddenly you are afraid of the karmas which may hit you after death, don't think you are in the same state. You have become matured. You are no more afraid of death. Only the karmas which may not come after death. Then your whole life you will not be planning for more and more locks and bigger walls. You will be planning about completion. If you are afraid of death, you will be planning for a greater and greater wall and lock. If you are afraid of the karma, you will be planning for more and more completion. So even your fears getting matured is a growth. With surrender, the first thing you will experience is your desires and fears will get matured. End, they will completely disappear. That is different. That is the ultimate experience. But the moment you start practicing surrender, your desires and fears will start getting matured. Your anxiety, your fear, whatever emotions with which you are struggling, your incompletions, all these will start getting matured. You may not have incompletion with the people who are living with you or with the day-to-day life. You may have incompletion with incompletion itself, that why I am not able to complete you. That can never be equated to the incompletion you are having with the next person because she did not smile at you or he did not smile at you, they did not respond to you, they poured water on you. Your incompletion about they poured water on you is totally different than your incompletion that why still you are not able to complete. I can say here, even your incompletion and anxiety has become more matured. See, ultimately this incompletion will disappear. That is experience. But even maturity shows the growth. The moment you start practicing surrender, the first thing will happen to you is maturity in your desires, in your anxiety, in your fears, in your greed, in your everything. I tell you, live with the people who are matured. You will love the life. You will love the life. This whole prayer, you see, such matured prayer, matured surrender. If you are surrendering to somebody to save your life or to have 2 square meal, it is stupid surrender. You are becoming slave. If you are surrendering to somebody, asking for enlightenment, leading you to beyond coming and going, birth and death, that is matured surrender. Even in surrender, there is maturity. The context, understand? That is why I always insist. Some people use me only as an orphanage head. Very few use me as the head of a monastery, Guru Maha Sannidhanam. Understand? Your surrender, your fear, your anxiety, your desire, everything will get matured the moment you start practicing surrender. Surrender smokes out all your hypocrisy. It just smokes out all your hypocrisy. You simply know what is hypocrisy. You simply know why you are hypocrite. First reason why you are hypocrite is the fear implanted in you by society about your desires getting matured. I have seen people telling, oh, I'm afraid to come to the ashram. I may just settle down there. Hey! You think then we are all fools? You are blessed if your desires can get matured and you can settle down here. It's only the people whose desires were matured can settle down here. Otherwise, I have enough bhuta preta ganas to pour water on you. and kick you out. The moment you say, I'm afraid to go and attend inner awakening, I may stop drinking, it means what? Fear of your desires getting matured. It is exactly that warm feeling. Oh, if I become butterfly, where will I get my food? How will I protect myself? I heard many big worms will try to eat me. Hey, just become butterfly. All these problems won't even exist in you. Making your old problems redundant, not solving. Redundant is renunciation. They just become redundant to your life. The more and more practice of surrender will more and more smoke out the hypocrisy with which you are hugging. Cuddling with hypocrisy is not cute. Understand? Hypocrisy is not cuddly bear. It is cuddy bear. Not cuddly bear. Cuddy bear means the bear going to bite you. Don't cuddle with your hypocrisy. No. Celebrate your desires getting matured. Celebrate your fears getting matured. Celebrate your anxieties getting matured. Celebrate your decisions getting matured. Celebrate your vision getting matured. You will celebrate surrender. Because in real surrender, spiritual surrender, the worm is becoming butterfly. The other day I saw a Facebook posting. A worm and the butterfly, both of them are sitting on the table in restaurant. Worm says, you have changed in 1 month. Butterfly says, yes, Nithyananda effect. Yes, Nithyananda effect. And that photo was really a lot of meaning. The worm, in front of worm, there are food items. In front of the butterfly, nothing was there. The snake form of Kundalini in Mahadeva's form denotes surrender. Understand? Each item in Mahadeva's form represents one idea, one truth. Snake represents the Kundalini Shakti, which is surrendered to Mahadeva. Or I can say Mahadeva's own Kundalini Shakti, which is under his control. Innocent surrender means you know everything about surrender, but you don't have fear. Ignorant surrender means you don't know anything about surrender. You just use that word for bargaining something. Here you can see the innocent surrender. What a matured prayer. O God, consciousness, may you remove all our incompletions that are obstacles on our good path of completion, beyond coming and going, birth and death. Unto you we surrender with many reverential words, because we don't know any other words. We only know the reverence we carry in our heart, and we don't know how to verbalize it. So we offer that as it is, bowing down again and again. Bowing down again and again. Understand? When money gets added, your taste about life changes. When power gets added, your taste about life changes. When name and fame gets added, your taste about life changes. When surrender gets added, maturity happens in you. Understand, the biggest change you can have in your life is maturity. I'll explain the difference. When money gets added, you have a new desires, new way of thinking, new fears, everything. But that does not mean your old desires have gone. They become redundant. Does not mean your old fears have become redundant. When name and fame gets added, you have more desire, more fear. That does not make your old desires and old fears redundant. When power gets added, you have no new desires and new things. That does not mean the old is redundant. But when maturity gets added, constantly the old desires and old fears are becoming redundant. Whatever is today your desire and fear, tomorrow it will become redundant. And tomorrow, whatever is desire tomorrow and fears you have, that will become redundant day after tomorrow. Constantly, the old desires and fears becoming redundant is what I call maturity. That is what is renunciation. Renunciation is not denunciation. It is just making old redundant. They are no more part of you. They are no more part of you. Ability to make old desires and fears redundant is the ability to keep life alive. If you have that ability, you can make disease redundant in your body, boredom redundant in your mind, suffering redundant in your emotions, pain redundant in your relationships. At one point, you will become redundant due to enlightenment. Ultimately, you will become redundant. That is enlightenment. Making things redundant in your life. Making things, places, people redundant in your life. When you mature, the people who all the time talk about share, clothes, car, bank balance, your net worth, they become redundant to you. And I have seen these stupid NRI parties. All the time these donkeys talk about only this. The moment they gather, what is a share? What's the car you are driving? How many swimming pools you have in your house? How many bedrooms you have in your house? Do you have a tennis court? Make all these people redundant in your life. And when these women gather, oh God, NRI women, saree, jewelry, kitty party, make all these people redundant in your life. When your taste changes, they become redundant. When you get matured, they become redundant. The innocent surrender, where you know everything about it, you are not afraid of it. I tell you, the fear of maturity is the worst fear taught to humanity. This is the biggest conspiracy done against humanity. Attack on your body is chemical agriculture and pharmaceutical companies. Chemical agriculture and chemical medicines is the attack on your body. overly sex and violence based entertainment is the attack on your mind. Fear of the maturity is attack on humanity. Understand, I am neither revolutionary nor rebel, I am just evolutionary. Maybe I can coin a new word, revive evolutionary. Even in the prayer, what a maturity. This one verse. I feel there is so much to tell about this verse. That's why I'm not moving. Maybe the first day of the inner awakening, I'll start the Kenopanishads. February 4th. The next beautiful Upanishad, Kenopanishad. Agnenaya supadaraye asman vishwani deva vayunani vidvan yuyotyasmad juhuranamena bhuyishtam denama uktim videma. What a prayer! What a prayer! The moment I read this mantra, I can see the whole bioenergy becoming alive. If you want to pray, I think this should be your prayer. With the clarity, even while you pray, Sohamasmi. With this prayer, the Upanishad leads you from impersonal relationship to personal feeling connection. You can always just cheat yourself with just some good ideas, concepts, but never connecting to the source. This verse does not allow you to do. This verse really awakens that feeling connection. Essence of today's satsang, innocent surrender, not ignorant surrender. With this, I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam, the eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
The nature of consciousness. The source of awareness. The relationship between our ego and the world. This has plagued us for generations. We strive to understand why we are the way we are. Why our reality is the way it is. Why our life is the way it is. But what if the way we see the world as separate from us is just an illusion? What if our consciousness exists before all experience and is not limited to the confines of our body and mind?
Today what I revealed is practically the whole Hinduism in a nutshell. If you make the column, you will see clearly most of your problems are internal non-understanding. When these internal non-understandings are cleared, life becomes Leela. You just manifest what you want. I'll make this as a realization in you all now through this initiation and darshan of Sadashiva.